Good evening. Welcome to the monthly Food is Medicine. Sorry, I had an echo over here. Thank you for taking time out of your evening to join us this evening. I have the most phenomenal team with me, Dr. Gordon, and there's a switch in the slide. We also have the phenomenal Nurse T. Nurse Battle wasn't able to join us tonight, but we are excited to have you on with us to learn about the DASH diet. We have received funding. You know how important funding is for our small nonprofit organizations. Flint Innovative Solutions, which I have the privilege of being the executive director of, received funding from CDC, which trickled down from the state, the MDHHS, and also our local funders, the Greater Flint Health Coalition, to provide the Improved Hypertension Health Initiative, or IHHI. We reached out to our partners at Triumph Church with Miss Joella Adams, and then also at Hasselbrink with Miss Beverly Lewis to bring our seniors in so that they can become self-regulated to bring down those blood pressures. We also are in partnership with Flint Fresh to provide free food boxes. Again, we know as we talk about food is medicine, I brought the experts in. So to no further ado, we will have these podcasts monthly on the second Monday of each month throughout the summer. So you'll learn more from the medical experts. Again, we have Dr. G, we have Nurse T, and Nurse Battle, who are our medical team to help us help ourselves improve our health to live long in happiness and longevity. Let me bring in our team. And to no further ado, good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
Thank you so much. For those, I don't know what rock they may be under if they don't know you, but if you could quickly introduce yourselves, and then we'll dive right in.
Hi, I'm Dr. Gordon. I am the Director of Public Programs of Michigan United. I'm also U.S. Army veteran and been in nursing and in healthcare for over 30-some years, and a community advocate.
Hi, I'm Tonya Martin, passionately known as Nurse T in the community. I wear a couple different hats. I serve as the patient resource and community advocate for Hurley Medical Center, as well as Assistant Director of Programs for Michigan United. And so I'm just here and happy to be here to help educate.
Awesome. Well, let me pull up your slides. And Nurse Dr. G, did you have a few words before we get started?
Oh, yes. We're going to talk today about the DASH diet, dietary measures to help stop hypertension. So we'll have Nurse T come on in and speak about, kick it off for us.
Awesome.
I do want to apologize in advance if my grandbaby happened to come through the door. Her mom is on the way to work and I'm the babysitter. So I do apologize for that in advance. So we'll start off by giving a introduction. Heart Healthy Ambassador Blood Pressure Self-Monitoring Program. As she mentioned, about the opportunity we had to partner and connect to better serve our community. I'm going to be talking about dietary approaches to manage hypertension. Next slide. So the DASH diet, which is a very common diet, is a dietary approach to stop hypertension. The overview that we will be going over today is nutrition and blood pressure facts. What is DASH? A day with the DASH, choosing the healthy options and why following DASH works. Nutrition and blood pressure. Food has a significant effect on blood pressure. Sodium, saturated and trans fat, and added sugar increases blood pressure. Hold on just 1 second. I'm so sorry.
So food has a significant effect on blood pressure. As you can see, your sodium, saturated, trans fat, added sugars, all of these things increase your blood pressure. So eating a variety of healthy vegetables, fruit, whole grains, lean proteins, and nuts, seeds can help control your blood pressure. So calorie intake should be balanced out, in versus out. So we're going to have a diagram right here. Weight also impacts your blood pressure. We talk about the things that you can do to control your blood pressure, some modifiable factors. Modifiable factors are what you eat, what you bring in. Okay, you can control what you eat. You can control your diet, again, what you eat, and you can control your weight. So weight gain increases your blood pressure, and weight loss will decrease your blood pressure. So nutrition, weight, and blood pressure all go together. Next slide. Okay. A controlled diet is a typical American diet. So these are some little diagrams right here. We talk about the systolic blood pressure. That's the top number, your blood pressure reading. So we have like the 124, 126 milligrams over mercury, and then 128, 130, 132. So these are ways, the fruits and vegetables and snack, if you is in the 75th percentile of U.S. consumption for potassium, magnesium, and high fiber. You need a good combination diet, which is rich in fruits, vegetables, low fat, including dairy, reduced saturated fat, and total fat and cholesterol in the 75th percentile of the U.S. consumption for potassium, magnesium, and calcium, high fiber. So I talked about the systolic, which is the top reading of your blood pressure. That's when your heart is contracting and working. And the diastolic is the bottom number, which your heart is relaxing. So those are the two things that we'll be talking about. That's how your blood pressure is read when you go to your doctor's office. So if you see that systolic, that means that is your heart is working. That's your top number. And the diastolic is your bottom number. So they got the mean systolic and diastolic pressure baselines are kind of shown here on this diagram. Next slide, please. Dietary approaches to stop hypertension. Well, we know that there's different measures. We talk about those modifiable health factors. Again, diet plays a big important factor of controlling your blood pressure. We do know that you can exercise, you can eat right, and control your weight. So those are some of the approaches. But today we're talking about the dietary approaches to stop hypertension. This is evidence-based. It is sponsored by the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, NHLB. This helps to reduce the risk of developing cardiovascular disease. It also helps to lower your blood pressure. That's the goal of the DASH diet, to lower and improve lipids or fat levels in your blood. The emphasis is based on vegetables, fruit, fat-free, or low-dairy foods. Also include those whole grains, nuts, seeds, vegetable oils. And you want limited sodium, sweet, sugary beverages like Coke and red meat. So that's what the DASH diet encompasses. Next slide, please. Okay, so we talked about the food group. Okay, we have vegetables again, fruits, grains, and protein. So grains, you want whole grains. And then protein, you want the lean meat, you want poultry, fish. Remember to limit that red meat, nuts, seeds, and beans. And also you can have some of your cheese, but you want to choose the low-fat options and the fat-free options, and kind of in moderation. And then oils, we got vegetable oils, but also you can do coconut oils or olive oil. Sweets, you want to watch out for added sugar. Natural sugars like from your fruit is good. Vitamins and minerals, potassium, magnesium, calcium, and sodium. You're going to get those nutrients from the foods that you eat. Next slide. Okay. So again, we talk about what's your serving size. So we also reiterate like a disclaimer. Follow what your if you're diabetic or on any type of cardiac diet, renal diet, you always want to follow the recommendations of your physician and your nutritionist. That's a disclaimer. So this is basically just a overall of how much grains should you have a day. So 6 to 8 servings will look like 1 slice of bread, or a half a cup of ready-to-eat cereal, or a half a cup of cooked rice, pasta, cereal. Then you could go to your poultry. And then, we'll also have in our upcoming videos, the plates, it already has it made out for you. It shows you this portion of your meat should be like a deck of cards or your fist. So 6 or less, 3 ounces of lean meat, skinless poultry or fish, And then vegetables, those good green leafy vegetables, half cup of vegetables, 6 ounces of vegetable juice, 4 to 5 servings. And then those fruits are important. You can have one medium fruit. This is not in one setting. This is throughout the day. 4 to 5 daily servings of fresh fruit, medium fruit, a half cup, 1/4 cup of dried fruit, 1/2 cup of frozen fruit or canned fruit, 6 ounces of fruit juice. You want to make sure it's the that doesn't have any added sugar. So sometimes you get too much sugar from fruit juices or those. So we're going to that later about reading those labels. Again, that low fat, fat-free dairy products, 2 to 3, 6 ounces of milk, 1 cup of yogurt. Greek yogurt is good. 1 and 1/2 cup of ounce of cheese throughout the day. And then the fats. Remember, we're going to limit those fats, but remember the lipid. The word lipid is can be raised in your blood. So 1 teaspoon of low-fat mayonnaise, 2 teaspoons of light salad dressing, a teaspoon of vegetable oil, and then that sodium. We want to reduce that sodium. It says 23 milligrams, but if you can get that lower, like 1,500 milligrams, lowers your BP even further. So you don't want to add salt to your food. So you have different options. That they have seasonings called, we're not advertising, but they have different seasonings in the grocery store section that will be sodium free, but it has different herbs and different flavors to add to your foods. You don't want to get that lowering salt or not. I'm not disclaimer. We don't want to have any salt that has high sodium in it or any seasoning. Then we need nuts, seeds, dry beans or peas. Those are good. Those also are ways of getting protein. 1 or 1.5 ounces of nuts, 1 teaspoon or 1.5 seeds, 1/2 cup of dry beans, and sweets. You want to limit your sugar. 1 tablespoon of sugar a day. And actually, if you can, even lower than that, a tablespoon. They do have reduced jelly or jam. Or again, if you're diabetic, you definitely want to follow that 1500, 1288 diet, whatever is prescribed by your physician and nutritionist. 1/2 ounce of jelly beans and 8 ounces of lemonade. So, do we have any questions in there, Athena, in the chat?
Not yet, ma'am, but bring them.
Okay. All right. So we went over the food groups. The basis of this is like your food is going to help with your medicine. Now, we also disclaimer: if you're taking medication, do not stop taking your medication. These are some of the ways to modify. These are ways to modify risk factors and help to improve your blood pressure, or say stop hypertension or decrease your hypertension. So we're going to use those as working together or synergistic. So they're going to work together. All these measures we're going to put together. So we'll go to the next slide. Okay. Who can benefit from this following DASH diet? Okay. If you've been diagnosed with high blood pressure, if you're borderline high blood pressure, high cholesterol, remember that high lipid or fat level in your blood, diabetes, that chronic kidney disease. If you have tobacco use, that's another thing that you can control, cessation or stopping of tobacco use. If you're overweight, if you're physically inactive, and African Americans and adults age 51 plus. I almost fall in that category. But next slide. I'm there. Okay, dash in a day. Let's dash to it. So remember we talked about that 2,300 milligrams of sodium in your food for the day. So that would look like, if it's 2,300 milligrams, you're going to have 3/4 cups of a bran cereal, a banana, a cup of 8 ounces of low-fat milk, remember, 1 slice of whole wheat bread, 1 teaspoon of margarine, or 1 cup of 8 ounces of orange juice. To reduce it even further, you can go with that 3/4 cups of shredded wheat and 1 teaspoon of unsalted margarine to swap out. So there's a lot of things that you can swap out to help decrease your sodium. The lunch, you can do your chicken salad. Remember, with that low-fat mayo, whole wheat bread. You can use the mustard and a good salad. Salad is like low calorie. You can't go wrong with your fruits and vegetables. 1 cup of fresh cucumbers. These are just some different ways that you can eat. Tomato wedges, sunflower seeds, low-calorie Italian dressing, a 1/2 cup of fruit cocktail, and then also remove salt from your chicken salad recipe or tuna salad. Use that regular tablespoon of mustard. So these are just further ways to help you to reduce it. So another one over the 2,300 milligram is like you can have that Remember the 3 ounces of beef. You want to limit the red meat. Round eye, 2 tablespoons of gravy. Of course, the fat free. Again, go in with those vegetables. You can eliminate the canola oil if you like. 1 cup of green beans. A small baked potato with fat-free sour cream. Remember, we're doing that low fat or reduced fat dairy, or grated natural cheese, reduced fat, and 1 chopped scallions. These are just some recipes here, but 1 small wheat roll with a tablespoon of margarine or butter, 1 small apple, and a cup of low-fat milk. And then to reduce it, of course, we said the natural cheddar cheese, the emphasis on reducing fat, reducing sodium. So you can eat the things that you like. There's always a remix, as I call it, to the recipe. You know, the remix to the recipe. That means that you swap out some of the things that you usually use that are high sodium versus lower sodium options or no sodium. And then, of course, you know, everyone loves their snacks. You know, 1/3 cup of almonds, again, unsalted, and some raisins, 1/4 cup. And then your fruit yogurt or Greek yogurt that's fat-free and no sugar added. Next slide, please. Okay. Choosing a healthier option, this or that. You know, it's an old rap song. You can choose, you can go with this or you can go with that. So this is what we're at now, choosing a healthier option for breakfast. You know, you have 3 egg omelets with spinach, tomato, feta cheese, and an English muffin, orange juice. Again, are we going to have regular yogurt or that fat-free yogurt with some strawberries, blueberries, or that nature? And then lunch, you have spinach, a whole grain pasta with that chicken. You know, these are different recipes, walnuts, avocados, tomato. And then dinner is that teriyaki beef. But, you know, we do have a person in our community that we do work with. You know, she's out there, another partner, Dr. Shan Jackson, and she has, a DASH book. There's many different options. There's apps on your phones that you can go to, but there's, like say, some soul food remixes that you can use in this book, and other options, again, that you can use to decrease your sodium intake, low fat or fat-free options with your cheese and your dairy. Okay. Next slide. Okay. Why? Again, we talked about evidence-based practice. Evidence-based practice is practices that have been proven, they've been piloted, and they've proved that they work. So why following the DASH diet works? Because it helps you promote a wholesome and healthy lifestyle by creating that balanced diet. And it follows the dietary guidelines for Americans. So again, we went back to like we're not going into the calorie intake. Again, we said, disclaimer, follow your primary care physician, your nutritionist, how many calories that you need to eat, because we're going to go into that in our further videos in our other sessions. But today we're just going to focus on this diet. Okay. So it's going to help regulate blood pressure. What's help regulating your blood pressure? You got those minerals, vitamins, potassium, calcium, fiber, and protein, reduced sodium and added sugar and saturated fat. Promotes healthy weight loss. Remember, excess weight increases your blood pressure. Okay, so decreasing your weight can help lower your blood pressure, and it replaces those empty calorie foods with dense nutritious foods. So you're going to have to retrain your palate or retrain your taste buds for these foods. Because if you're used to tasting salt, first thing that we do, we grab a salt shaker. Sometimes even before we taste the food and start shaking it on the food. So now we're going to learn how to eat properly, retrain our taste buds, and decrease our sodium, because we know that decreasing our sodium helps to decrease our blood pressure. It helps to regulate and reduce blood pressure by increasing the potassium through fruits and vegetables, and calcium, magnesium, fiber, and protein. These are things that we need to have a healthy diet. And again, weight loss and maintenance, and again, replacing those empty snack foods with some dense nutrition foods. So we're going to retrain our taste buds, retrain our palate, and we're not going to reach for the sodium anymore or the salt shaker anymore and taste our food, and then use other alternatives. Next slide. All right, Athena. Okay. Discussion. Okay.
Thank you so much, Dr. G. Let us bring in, and we also have our superstar, Nurse
Okay,
was able to join us.
okay, I'll let them take it up for the discussion. We have a discussion here. Okay.
So, Nurse T, these questions are up for our discussion, so I'm going to turn it over to you, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So is there any questions regarding any information that Doc G may have shared, the importance of it? So what foods have you eaten today that would be DASH friendly? How could you make your food choices more similar to the DASH approach to eating? So that question there. So we're looking to see what you guys are willing to share in the Q&A. Because it's important that once you receive the instructions, and especially the information about the DASH diet, that you even get you a journal, a notebook, and start journaling what you're eating, so you can see how you are matching the DASH diet, because you may have ate today and not really even think about what you have ate.
We do have a question from Hasselbrink Senior Center.
Okay.
Is the Ensure Max protein shake good or bad for you?
Give me a minute. Let me look that up, and then I'll get back with you. I know a lot of patients go on Ensure. I don't think that it would be bad for you, but let me look into that right quick so I can give you the exact details on how it relates to the DASH diet.
Okay, I did look. It said the DASH has 30 grams of protein, which is good. 1 gram of sugar. We talked about lowering your sugar, low sugar. 25 essential vitamins and minerals. It's only 150 calories, so it's a low calorie snack. And it has that 4 grams of comfort fiber for prebiotic. It's gluten free. It's suitable for those that are lactose intolerant, halal or kosher. So it's a good, especially if you're diabetic. 1 gram of sugar and the 150 150 calories with 30 grams of protein is a good option for a protein shake. But also you have to look into if you have other type of issues such as kidney disease, but for diabetics or anybody else without any dietary restrictions, it will be a good protein shake.
Okay. Yeah, and then it also too was saying choose shakes with less than 200 milligrams of sodium.
Yes.
And less than 5 to 8 grams of sugar.
Thank you. Our next question: do multivitamins affect your blood pressure?
Oh, y'all got some good questions.
Yes.
I would say multivitamins are good for you because they provide a lot of nutrients and electrolytes and everything that you need to help maintain your overall health. I think most people should be on a multivitamin because we don't always get the other vitamins that we need daily, especially if we're not getting them through our food, because a multivitamin will have all of your B vitamins, your vitamin D's, your vitamin C's. It will have everything that you need.
And make sure that you don't overdo the vitamins. Take it as direct, because increase of vitamin D or potassium, if you take a potassium supplement, that can't raise your blood pressure. As Nurse T stated, a multivitamin should be good. And anything, always recommend checking with your family physician regarding any type of new supplements or exercise program.
Yeah, and when you are on when the physicians do recommend, a lot of people are on a multivitamin, like Dr. G was saying, make sure, because sometimes you'll be on a multivitamin and they'll have vitamin D in there, and then you'll take additional vitamin D. Making sure you consult with your physician before you take any additional vitamins other than that multivitamin, because so that could be mindful, something to watch out for.
Awesome. Our next question And please keep them coming in the chat through YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook. The next one is it healthier to air fry your food than baking?
Well, we are Jeopardy.
Right.
Okay. Well, actually, like air frying is supposed to be substitute like deep frying in grease and then baking. So long as you're not adding that extra like oil to it, because sometimes you with the air fryer, I know I do. I put some potatoes in there and I get me some spray it down or add a little olive oil or something like that. So using bacon as a healthier. Baking and frying are both healthier options than baking and air frying are both healthier options than frying in grease, deep frying food.
Yeah, I was gonna say the trick with that, both of them are healthy, but the trick is when you add all of those seasons, making sure that you're not adding that extra salt, seasoning salt, and garlic powder, onion powder, just over accessorizing the meat, because sometimes when we bake it or put it in the air fryer, we tend to think that we need to doctor it up more. So just be mindful on that. Still, make sure you put minimum salt and seasoning on it, air fry or bake.
Thank you. Our next question. I've been fasting and drinking that shake you just mentioned, but I'm not a diabetic. Is that okay?
Well, again, we go back to, fasting. You have to, that's like with your, go back to your medical doctor, like those protein shakes. Someone will tell you right on the bottle, this is not a meal replacement or calorie replacement. Like a protein shake is supposed to be like, you can use it as a snack or you can supplement like a meal or two. But as you're, fasting, you reduce your calorie way down too low, because there's only, remember we said most of those protein shakes, if you, depending on which one you use, like the Premier, or like she said, the Ensure, they only have 150 calories. So that's not a lot of calories to function on a day. So that's also different if you're doing fasting for religious purposes. Again, also, be mindful of your calorie intake, water intake, and your overall, again, refer back to your, your physician, make sure you're healthy enough to be, to do that. So
yeah. And then too, keeping in mind that a lot of times when patients get insured, it's because they're not taking in a lot of calorie intake. They're not eating a lot of food. So it's advised for them because they're not getting all of the nutrients and the vitamins and the necessary nutrition that they need on a regular basis.
Thank you. We got some good comments coming in. This is great information, that this is a great session. We're going to dive back into the slides. We have a couple more for you, but please keep your questions coming and we'll have time to answer those in the next section. All right. And not sure who's going to take this, but there's a couple slides for the physical activity and blood pressure management.
I could take this. Physical activity and blood pressure management. That's speaking to me because that's something that I need to participate in as well. Next slide. Evidence has shown that regular physical activity can lead to a significant reduction in blood pressure and improve our cardiovascular risk. Moderate physical activity has also been proven to decrease blood pressure in hypertensive patients who are less responsive to medical treatment. 30 minutes of physical activity a day, equivalent to brisk walking 6 to 7 days each week. 180 minutes each week may result in better management of a reduction in one's blood pressure. So when you're thinking about your physical activity, in the minutes, just be like, I got 30 on it. 30 minutes a day. Next slide. Physical activity and blood pressure management reduces to support, resources to support this claim include, but are not limited to, exercise and resistant hypertension. Aerobic exercise reduces blood pressure in resistance hypertension, exercise testing and exercise prescription for special cases, regular aerobic exercise, augments endothelium dependent vascular relaxation in normotensive as well as hypertensive subjects, the effects of aerobic exercise and Tai Chi on blood pressure and older people. But when you do choose exercise, choose something that's comfortable for you and something that you can tolerate. You don't want to overexert yourself, but you do want to make sure that you do follow up with your physician. I know we keep referring to the physician so they'll know what type of exercise you participate in. Next slide, please.
That's all of our slides for today. Thank you so much for that set of education. We have plenty of time for more questions, and then we do have a few announcements as well. So folks, please drop your questions in the chat.
We could talk more about the exercise as well, Nurse T. What does it do? Nurse T always talk about the queen. Can you talk about the queen, Nurse T? Okay.
So I always talk about the heart as being the queen, the regulator. The heart manages everything. Without the queen, nothing goes. So you want to make sure that you're partnering with the queen to take care of it. You know, so a lot of times ask yourself, what am I doing for my heart today? What gift am I giving my heart today? Especially when it comes to exercising, because you want to be able to maintain your blood pressure and you want to be able to participate with the activities of your heart because you want to take care of the queen. So when you get up in the morning and you just hesitant to get out of bed, you want to think about, you know what, I gotta pay honor to the queen. I gotta get up and do my 15 to 30 minutes a day so that I can work with and partner with the queen. So that's what I call the heart, the queen. Take care of the queen, because without the queen, nothing goes.
Nurse Battle, what you got for us? I know you holding
Well,
it.
I just wondered, so say, we don't have 30 minutes or we got up late or whatever. What if we do 10 minutes here, 10 minutes at lunch or 10 minutes, you know what I'm saying? You can break your 30 minutes up and do whatever, exercise that you can, just as long as you get 30 minutes in a day.
Yeah.
And Nurse Battle, can you talk a little bit more about managing blood pressure too? As far as taking your own blood pressure. That's for everyone too.
As far as taking our own blood pressure,
Yes.
we talked about, at our first session, we talked about having a journal, and writing down, keeping a record of what our blood pressures are. Then when we have a doctor's appointment, taking those recordings to our doctor, where we're talking about nutrition and exercise, and decreasing stress, getting enough sleep, and just getting the education that we're here today, that we're getting today. This is awesome.
And what do we talk about? What happens if you don't monitor your blood pressure? And high blood pressure is called what?
Hypertension. You can have a hypertensive crisis.
Yeah, and it's called a silent killer because if you don't take your blood, if you're not monitoring your blood pressure, you feel fine. You walk around with a high blood pressure, your body adjusts to that. So you don't even know anything is wrong. So if you're not monitoring your blood pressure, you won't even know if you fall in those, if you're like Nurse T talked about the hypertensive crisis where remember we talked earlier about that systolic number, getting to that 180, and then that diastolic getting to that 120. That's when you're in that hypertensive crisis, when you come into those urgent cares or when you come into that emergency room, when you have those different symptoms. Can we talk about the BFAST and the symptoms that come along with possibly things that you need to watch out for when you're going into that hypertensive crisis or your blood pressure? I know my one cousin, she said, I know my blood pressure is getting high because my nose gets high or I might get a headache. So you have to always talk about your body. And then Nurse T talks about activate your healthcare power. Nurse T educates when we're out in the community. We're out there helping you take your blood pressure. We have done over probably about 5,000 blood pressures over the past couple years out in the community. And, it was a DJ playing, there's a whole lot of money up in here. And Nurse T is witty. And, I'm like, something's wrong. I'm talking about young, fit people, middle-aged, older people, even some of the kids. It was a whole lot of what up in there, Nurse T?
Hypertension.
Hypertension. So there's a whole lot of hypertension in our community. So this is one of the reasons that we're out here doing this, because we want to bring awareness. We want to help prevent. So you might be on the borderline. I was on the borderline for years with having my blood pressure. And like in my family, some passion behind why we do this is like I lost, stroke is prevalent in my family. So some of the things, if you're not managing your blood pressure, you can have a stroke, you can have a heart attack, So these are some of the things that we're trying to educate on, and we can be going, okay. So I see someone say, I've been doing a lot of yard work, lifting bags, mulch, and planting, raking, etc. That's been my exercise for a couple of weeks. So staying active. So, sometimes you can buy those things that, or even on your phone, there's when you're walking, it takes how many steps that you do a day. So you want to target, they always say 10,000 steps. We're going to bring on our exercise expert soon, but just getting your body moving, like you say, in your yard, doing yard work, and being mindful of what you can do, what you can't do. So who wants to jump in and talk about be fast? Somebody be fast.
Just say something real quick. Even if, if you can't get to the gym, or, it's raining outside and the weather is bad, you can walk around your house. Mm-hmm. You can, you have to maybe be creative with your physical activity. Yeah. Just, walk around your house, or walk up and down your stairs. If you have like a basement, walk up and down your stairs, or, just be creative if you can't get to a gym.
Yeah.
And they have lots of apps, lots of exercise programs, even on television. Yeah.
There's a question: how much exercise is too much for a hypertensive person? So really following the guidelines, like they encourage 30 minutes a day, but it actually depends on what you can tolerate, and what you discuss with your physicians. Like say, I have a history of hypertension, and I can probably tolerate 30 minutes to an hour to an hour and a half a day. So not over exerting yourself, but it's just knowing your body, your age, your restrictions, your limitations, and what you can tolerate. The goal that they recommend is 30 minutes a day, because they say an average of 150 minutes. I know here it said 180, but 150 minutes consistently that's what's needed to actually help bring your blood pressure down. And what we're talking about too is those modifiers, things that you can modify and things that you can partner with your body with. And I always say partner with your body, because your body needs you. Our body needs us. Like when Dr. G was talking about the hypertension and it being a silent killer, it's the most unmanaged, unknown, undiagnosed, untreated number that causes so many issues. And that's why we are very passionate about educating on it and knowing your numbers, so that you could be able to appropriately treat it, whether that's with medications that's prescribed from your physician, whether that's through healthy lifestyle choices, such as the exercise and the dieting, etc.
Right. And then like Nurse T said, pay attention to your body. So if you're doing something, your body will see you signal, stop exercising, any pain, any dizziness, or if you're off balance, and stay hydrated with water, when you're exercising, and even maintain that electrolyte. When we talk about those electrolytes, the potassium, magnesium, and calcium. So those are some of the things to do. But we also want to hit that be fast. Nurse T does a good job, and Tonya, hit that be fast.
So come on, let's hit it. So B is for balance. E is for eyes. F is for facial. A is for arms, S is for speech, and T is for time. So when we say be fast, what we're talking about, be fast in spotting a symptom or a stroke so that you could get to the emergency room as soon as possible. So that's one thing too. If you do have a history of hypertension, you are at risk for having a stroke. Any obesity, diabetes, kidney disease, even us as African Americans, or sometimes even genetic, just making sure we know those signs and symptoms of a stroke so that we can respond timely and appropriately. So we always say, be fast, and it's normally a quick onset. Like, I remember I was at work one day and my friend, she went to put her food in the microwave and her arm went like this. So it was just, her plate was lopsided, and we was able to spot that she was having a stroke just that quick. So being sensitive to your loved ones and knowing those signs, symptoms, and risk factors and everything that's associated with hypertension, and even with headaches. Don't ignore your headaches and stress. Sometimes we be like, we just stressed and we need to go lay down and rest our eyes. But that could be the moment that something else is going on and it needs to be checked out. It was another question, Doc G. Which meat is the best for you? Ground beef, chicken, turkey, or pork?
Okay, so it's lean. So remember, we want to stay away from most of the red meat. So just, you can get ground beef that's lean, that's not as fatty. Sometimes 80% is higher fat. Chicken, turkey, even like pork, the lean cuts of pork. It's how you cook it. So, like Nurse T and Nurse Battle was saying, making sure that you're not adding that, deep frying it, you're baking it. We're controlling the sodium. Remember, we talked about not adding extra sodium or salt to our food. So it's kind of your preference. The ground beef, I would take the lean cuts of meat. So we want the lean cuts in 3 ounces.
Yeah. I do know that sometimes with ground beef, it could be hard to digest. But always go back to your primary care physician. But I did just have a conversation with my mom's care provider today, and we talked about this and to help reduce cholesterol. And he was just, telling my mom, to reduce her ground beef because it was contributing to her increased cholesterol. And as with the pork, by her having a history of hypertension, and then by pork being salty, it can increase hypertension as well. But as referencing what Doc G said, just make sure that the meat is lean. That the meat is lean and that you're not adding any additional salt. And just please be mindful with your sugar. And then also remember too, wherever salt is, water tends to follow.
And also, like Doc G said, 3 ounces. And 3 ounces, they say, is like the palm of your hand, like a serving portion.
Awesome. We have one more question coming through. Great job, guys. Bring those questions in so our medical experts can address them. Is Gatorade okay for people with hypertension?
Gatorade tends to be higher in sodium. So we go back to reading those labels. So like for those, there's certain type of replenishing or drinks for like liquid IV fluid. And you want to read those labels. So Gatorade has approximately 270 milligrams of sodium. That's 11% of your allowed daily sodium. So yes, Gatorade is high. And then also sometimes the sugar is not even, I learned that through my son's playing sports. It's not even good for your teeth. It can be detrimental to your teeth, but Gatorade is high in sodium. It's 11% of your daily intake of sodium.
Yeah, and it has 34 grams of sugar.
Oh yeah. If it says 0, y'all get this there. So 0.
Where y'all get these questions from? Y'all been studying.
People go, that's house. Okay, so usually 0 is referencing the sugar content. So it usually has some type of saccharin or different type of I know I had Amarol, or so not Amarol, it's Amargate or something like that. I can't think of the name. We're not going to do brands here, but it's another one, but it has 0 in it. And it's no sugar, like natural sugars. So you also have to, we can have to look up the, some of them that they have, you have to look for the natural ones, but you also have to read the sodium, so content on there. So if it's Gatorade Zero, go ahead, Nurse T.
It did say that better alternatives for hypertension, water with a splash of lemon or cucumber, coconut water because it's low in sodium, but it's high in potassium, helpful for blood pressure. Yeah. So,
70 milligrams.
but the best thing is water.
Yes, that's the best thing with this water. So 70 milligrams in the 8 ounces. So that's usually when you're drinking those Gatorades or liquid IVs, you're trying to replenish your electrolytes. So sometimes you will have some of that, again, going back into that potassium and making sure you're not overdoing any of those things, because that can cause, you can overdo such thing as overdoing a good thing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I was going to say real quick. I know one thing, Dr. G, you mentioned Dr. Jackson. One thing she used to tell us was to get your sexy water, which was to get a cup of water and put, some fruit in it and make it your sexy water. So get your sexy water.
And again, we're going to, I'm going to see the reference again is the DASH Diet Cookbook by Dr. Shan Jackson is an excellent resource. You also can, like she said, she makes food is medicine and healthy just feels right. So we are also like we partner with a lot of different people in the community, but we want to recognize our own person in our city that's also is an advocate in fighting against high blood pressure and other health conditions. So y'all have some really wonderful questions that's keeping us on our, and we're not just up here talking about this stuff. We're living this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to watch. Like I said, I have my parents' history. Like I said, my aunt passed away from stroke. I just had 3 close relatives that had strokes. So then also we have to look at too is like this DASH diet. We also talk about putting on a whole armor. You know what I'm saying? This is something that that you need to implement. Your diet, that's what you control. Your weight, what you can control, and then how much sleep you can get, and your exercise. Those things are in your control. You can't control your genetics. You can't control what race you are, and we're gonna leave it at that part. But those green tea only with lemon juice and no sugar. So green tea, as long as that doesn't have a lot of caffeine in it, like I said, lemon juice and no sugar, that's a good alternative. And it doesn't have a lot of green tea, doesn't have a lot of sodium in it. So our key thing is watching our sodium and low fat and low sugar. So Tonya, can you recap?
So water is the best.
Yes.
Water with lemon. I drink water with lemon. I put cucumber in mine. If I have like some oranges that are going bad, I'll put orange slices in my water. But just water is the best.
Yeah.
And even there was a question that said, what about flavored water? And I think they may have meant, buying flavored water in the store. I think flavored water, and again, read the labels, but I think flavored water may have some like sugar or sugar substitute or something added to it.
So we try to do natural as possible. Get back to our roots. Get back to eating healthy. Get back to the basics. That that food pyramid they taught us in school. In our upcoming sessions, we're going to go over label reading. We'll have some, hopefully some guests coming in. And you know what? We might, if you like, to go on an errand run to a grocery store and look at some labels and pick up, like, you got which one is better, canned vegetables or frozen vegetables or fresh vegetables. So you also, they in can tend to have more sodium unless it says low sodium. Frozen would be the next option, but the best option is our fresh fruits and vegetables. That's from the ground, and it gives us if we're eating it properly, we really won't have to add all those additional supplements. But of course, for us in this climate, especially being African American women, we most likely have low vitamin D because of us not absorbing the sun as much. But we have more information coming, more sessions coming. So please join us and pass the word out, because our goal is to decrease and reduce high blood pressure and deaths and stroke. We don't want people having heart attacks in our community. We have so many people you hear about having a stroke, so many people having a heart attack, and there's no respecter of age or no respecter of person, as my grandmother would say. So that's all I have.
Yeah, I just noticed they said that they're going to start a weigh-in at Hasselring, but one thing, I like challenges. So, and if I'm a challenge, I'm gonna include myself in the challenge. So I challenge everybody to get a journal and write down what they're eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snack. And then whoever brings their journal to the sessions, we'll put their name in the drawing, and then they can win a free scale. So we are all in this together, and just because we're healthcare providers, it doesn't mean that we don't have to follow the same rules and regulations and healthy choices so that we can be better individuals as well. You know, going through that DASH diet, it kind of convicted me. And so now I have to do a better effort as well to take care of me. So thank you guys. And yeah.
Thank you. Wonderful session. I do want to share another resource with everyone. As you may already know, the Flint Eats app is available for you to do some of that tracking. You can download it either at the App Store or Google Play. And in there, you have the ability to also add tips, add deals, and add recipes. As the medical team mentioned, we're all in this together. This is a community-based app for us to engage with one another, share those recipes, share the sexy water that you're creating so others can have it as well. And the last thing that I'll share, well, there's actually two things that I'll share. Let me we have the Food Policy Council is having a food summit this September. I wanted to share this with everyone. The early bird registration is going on through the 20th of June. It's $25 to get your ticket. It's a full day activity where you'll hear about local resources around food, the food ecosystem. This is provided by the Flint and Genesee Food Policy Council. And we have several key partners there. We have CRIM, Michigan State and Extension. Flint Innovative Solutions also receive money from EAGLE to provide food as medicine for the next 3 years. But this is something that we're really supporting. You can see that QR code. And also here is the link, the address in which you can go ahead and register for the food summit. And then lastly, I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes back unless there's some questions in the chat to join us, as was already mentioned, for our next session. Our next episode will be July 14th. Same time, same place, 6:30 to 7:30. And we'll be talking about how to reduce sodium intake. We'll have our phenomenal medical team, our Flint's own phenomenal medical team here. A huge kudos again to our site partners who are involved in this initiative, which is Hasselring Senior Center and also Triumph Church and the Ministry and Community Center. Let me double check to see if there's any questions in the chat. Just a couple. Here we go. Well, thank you, Ms. Rose. We are glad you're here participating. Great information. Thank you, Sister Adams. Oh, here we go. Let me bring you guys on really quick. I know I have to take my blood pressure, but don't have a monitor. Any Doc G or the nursing team, any suggestions there? If you have insurance, I know you can reach out to your insurance provider. It's kind of convoluted, but medical professionals, what are some other ways that they can get blood pressure monitors? Oh, you're muted.
Rose, is that who needs? Oh, Cynthia. I do have a couple. So if you just give me a call, 810-262-6100, and I'll make sure you get your blood pressure cuff.
Thank you, Nurse T. And then also, of course, our phenomenal executive director, Ms. Lewis, said come to the center and we will assist you with taking it yourself. So we're super excited about this program. It was mentioned that there's folks in the program. So we actually have about 50 residents in Flint and Genesee County who qualify for this special program where we're able to provide these information. We monitor their blood pressure, take their blood pressure in office hours, and also encourage them to do it at home. Because of the funding, we weren't able to open it up widely, but we wanted to make sure this education was shared through all social media platforms because this is information that everyone needs. So again, please reach out to your medical team, find your own physician and visit them on a regular basis so that you can take the best care of yourself and let us help you help yourself. Thank you so much, ladies. I appreciate your partnership. Please do visit us again a month from now for our second session for Food is Medicine podcast. Thank you so much.